Hello and welcome to this episode of History Hub. Today we'll be discussing one of the most significant events in South Asian history, the Bangladesh War of 1971. This was a brutal war that lasted for 9 months and resulted in the creation of an independent Bangladesh, ending the long history of East Pakistan as a province of Pakistan. This is a story of struggle, resistance, and ultimately, freedom. To understand the Bangladesh War of 1971, it's important to first understand the history of East Pakistan. East Pakistan was created as part of the partition of India in 1947, when Pakistan was formed as a homeland for Muslims in the region. Despite being a majority Muslim country, East Pakistan was seen as a secondary concern by the West Pakistani government, who dominated the country politically and economically. As time went on, the divide between East and West Pakistan grew increasingly wide. The West Pakistani government dominated the country and its political and economic power was largely centered in the West. Meanwhile, East Pakistan was left to struggle with poverty and lack of resources, and the people of East Pakistan began to feel marginalized and oppressed. The spark of the Bangladesh War of 1971 was the national elections of 1970. In these elections, the Awami League, a political party based in East Pakistan, won a clear majority of seats in the national parliament. However, the ruling party in West Pakistan refused to allow the Awami League to form a government, leading to widespread protests and violence in East Pakistan. The conflict between East and West Pakistan escalated rapidly, and by March 1971, the Bangladesh War of 1971 had officially begun. The West Pakistani military launched a brutal crackdown on the people of East Pakistan, killing thousands and forcing millions to flee their homes. The violence was widespread and indiscriminate, and the people of East Pakistan were left to suffer at the hands of their own government. One of the most devastating policies was the systematic denial of basic human rights to the people of East Pakistan. The West Pakistani government used its military and security forces to suppress dissent, and to silence political opposition. This resulted in widespread human rights abuses, including arbitrary arrests, torture, and extrajudicial killings. Along with this, the people of East Pakistan had to witness the horror of their own army raping their mothers, daughters and sisters. In addition to the suppression of dissent, the people of East Pakistan also suffered from economic and political discrimination. The West Pakistani government controlled the country's resources and wealth, and it used this power to enrich itself at the expense of the East. This resulted in widespread poverty, unemployment, and a lack of basic services, such as healthcare and education. Despite the brutal crackdown, the people of East Pakistan continued to fight back against the West Pakistani military. The Bangladesh Liberation War, as it came to be known, was fought with bravery and determination by the East Pakistanis, who sought to create an independent Bangladesh. Over the next 9 months, the war raged on, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. One of the key factors in the outcome of the Bangladesh War of 1971 was the involvement of India. India was a close ally of the East Pakistanis, and as the conflict between East and West Pakistan escalated, India became increasingly involved. India provided both military and logistical support to the East Pakistanis, and helped to train and organize their resistance against the West Pakistani military. As the war raged on, India became increasingly involved in the conflict. On December 3, 1971, India officially entered the war, launching a massive military offensive against the West Pakistani military. The Indian military was well equipped and well trained, and it quickly gained the upper hand against the West Pakistani forces. India's involvement in the war was critical to the eventual outcome, as it provided much-needed support and resources to the East Pakistanis. The Bangladesh War of 1971 was part of a larger conflict known as the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971. The war was fought on 2 fronts, with the Indian military fighting against the West Pakistani military in East Pakistan, and the Indian and Pakistani navies fighting in the Bay of Bengal. The war was brutal and intense, with heavy casualties on both sides. The war ended on December 16, 1971, with the defeat of the West Pakistani military and the creation of an independent Bangladesh. The Indo-Pakistan War of 1971 was a major turning point in the region, and it had far-reaching consequences for both India and Pakistan. The war resulted in the loss of thousands of lives and the displacement of millions of people, and it also led to significant changes in the balance of power in South Asia. In conclusion, the Bangladesh War of 1971 was a pivotal moment in the history of South Asia, and it was a triumph for the people of East Pakistan. The war was fought with bravery and determination by the East Pakistanis, who sought to create an independent Bangladesh, and it was made possible through the support of India. The war had far-reaching consequences for both India and Pakistan, and it remains a major event in the region's history. We hope that you found this video informative and educational. If you enjoyed this episode of History Hub, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical content. And as always, we welcome your questions and feedback. Thank you for watching.